Welcome to Stoughton Spotlight. I'm your host, Jeffrey Pickett. Thanks for tuning in to our Conversations with the Candidates series, where I'll be sitting down with the candidates running in the upcoming recall election, which is scheduled for Tuesday, December 5th. This election is a little bit different than a typical selectman's election, where all the candidates will run and the top vote getter or top two vote getters will be elected to the Board of Selectmen. This race is group of individual challengers taking on individual selectmen. So in this case, on today's episode, I'm joined by incumbent David Spanky Sousa. He's being challenged directly by Christine Howe, and that's for the seat that expires in April 2020. There are separate races for the seat that expires in April 2019 and in April 2018. So the way it works, it's two questions on the ballot. There'll be a question asking you if you are for or against the recall, and then a question for you to choose your preferred candidate. Regardless of how you vote for or against the recall, you must select your preferred candidate. And I'm joined by one of the candidates, as I mentioned already on today's episode, David Sousa, the chairman of the Board of Selectmen. So thank you for joining me.
Jeff, thanks for having me. First of all, I want you to change the name to Politics for Pickett. You still haven't changed it yet. You should change it. And I would mention that this is being recorded because you might get an open meeting violation, Jeff, because they like doing that to me too. So this is being recorded and live at Smack with Mr. Pickett. So,
well, thank you for the clarification. It's actually, that could get us right into a question. The board has faced open meeting law violations, and you made light of one of them, which is that at one point you forgot to mention that the meeting was being recorded and you're supposed to be doing that. Explain that violation a little bit, how the Attorney General decided, and what your opinion of it is.
Oh, excuse me. The rules are the rules, Jeff. We're human. We made a mistake. We're not the only board that has made it. I know school committee and other members of other boards have made it. We're human. We made a mistake, and I'm not going to deny that. Is it really a big, major thing? The agenda says it's being taped in live. We have signs now outside the door saying being taped in live. People see it on TV, so they know it's being taped in live. Somebody has nothing else better to do. That's how I look at it. I think it's a foolish claim, but rules are the rules. But if that's the only bad thing they got me on, well, so be it, Jeff. I don't think it's really that bad. So,
well, let's talk about the recall. The election's taking place on December 5th. We sat down before in August or July this summer to discuss happenings around town with the Board of Selectmen specifically. Since then, how do you feel things have gone on the Board of Selectmen? There have been some contentious meetings, but there have also been several accomplishments you've been able to tout, most notably the bond rating, the AA2 bond rating. So let's just discuss some of the matters of the board from the last couple of months.
Which one would you like first?
Well, let's discuss the bond rating, because that is something that I want to ask you two questions on that. One, does Michael Hartman deserve any credit for that? Because a bond rating doesn't happen overnight.
No, he does not. And it didn't happen overnight. It happened probably within the time Stephen Estes came in with the team he picked. Bill Rowe, Susan Herman, a couple other people offhand, I just don't, but in Bill's team, I should say, and I think it was Steve who deserves all the credit. Plain and simple, it's just all Steve. You want to give somebody credit who wouldn't even look at people, wouldn't talk to people, there's no credit deserved. He did not do nothing. He was here 6 years, what did he do? Another perfect example is Glen Echo. If you watch social media, they're telling you Glen Echo was saved because of KP Law and all that. It was not saved by KP Law. It was us directing Stephen Estes, interim town manager, to fix this problem. They're saying we don't like Glen Echo. It's nothing against Glen Echo. If you want to keep it conservation, keep it conservation. Years ago, probably at least 20 years ago, if not longer, back to Marathon Farm, same thing. We're going to put parks, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. They're not doing that. You know what? Excuse me, Jeff. And it's okay if they don't want to do it. You want to keep it conservation? Keep it conservation. You want to be a tree hugger? You know how I am, Jeff. I go with the flow. then tell the people that's what we're going to keep it. We're keeping it just for conservation land. Don't say you're going to put parks, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And then you're going to, oh, we got 35,000 residents, and going to have 6 parking spots. First of all, you can't get a fire truck up there. With the road, it's much. I've walked up there. You can get the brush truck up there, but what happens if somebody actually really gets hurt there? How are you going to get an ambulance up there? You're not going to get the ambulance up there. So you're going to have to give them some type of SUV to carry them through there without getting stuck and hope the vehicle don't get stuck. If it's like this last couple of days of rain, you're going to sink. You can't put processed gravel because of maybe the wetlands and all that, conservation area. I don't know how all that stuff works, but leave a conservation area, let areas walk, make it a little parking area at the end so people can walk up there. But prior to that, I mean, but Stephen Estes, with our direct order from the board, has done that. So it's, they're trying to give Hartman. This is not Hartman. This is, we're moving this town forward. People don't like the 3-2 vote. But what happens if it becomes a 5-0 vote? It's okay then? I mean, decisions are supposed to be made, like them or not. We make unpopular decisions. That's part of the game. We make 2 great choices. Chief Donna McNamara, I knew all 5 candidates. I knew Mr. O'Regan had something against the police department, and that's why Mr. O'Regan was put on that assessment center, and Mr. Brown has police background as a corrections officer. So 2 people from 2 different sides. At the time of being the chairman, I didn't want to be involved with none of this stuff. Knowing all the candidates, I know certain people wanted their personal files brought out in public, their resumes and everything else. I did not want to see any resumes nor any personal files of any of these candidates. I consider them all friends. I think they're all, personally, in my opinion, I think they're all capable of doing the job. That was my opinion. Scores show different, assessment center show different. As you were there, you filmed the assessment center, you saw how it worked and who they recommended. That's why I put the assessment center out on live Smack TV to see there was no hidden agendas, no hiding things. We picked Donna McNamara. Paul Shastey was a great chief, changed this town a lot, was a big loss for the town of Stoughton. But behind a great man, there's a better woman. And I hate to say it, that better woman is Donna McNamara. She will take this department now to a whole new level. The problem is, in my opinion, and in only my opinion, if this recall does go through, when Chief McNamara's contract is up, Chief McNamara will no longer be the chief of Stoughton. Mr. O'Regan has made it clearly, publicly, that once her contract was up, he said her contract ends, she goes back to a lieutenant and everything else, and he wants his own people in there. Donna McNamara's a huge success to this town. I went to the Halloween thing this weekend just to see everybody, hey, how you doing, saw some of the residents, all that. The response that the residents give to our chief, being a selectman, being a town resident, being a parent, watching the little kids saying chief and saluting the chief, girls saying, hey, I'm going to become a police officer, the young kids saying I'm going to become a police officer because of her. This is what it's all about, the community. She's homegrown, I hate to say it, it's homegrown. You want to be outside, there's a lot of good people, like I said, you can be outside and love this town. I'm not going to say that. A lot of people moved in and call Stoughton home, and they bleed black and orange.
So you mentioned that, in your opinion, that if the recall goes through, Chief McNamara's contract wouldn't be renewed. What's the basis in forming that opinion?
Well, look how the vote went, 3-1, Mr. O'Regan. Mr. O'Regan has something with the police department. 4 years being on the board, I still have no clue why. I wish I could, certain things I'm still trying to nail down, Jeff, and I can't nail down. He has something with this police department. He has something with public safety. Rick Hill was to come over here last year, we debated public safety. When they talked about $20,000 or $26,000, I think, at town meeting to put 2 more police officers on, he was the first one to stand up and vote against it because cameras didn't really see him. But sitting in the audience, you see him. So somebody who's saying one thing and doing another thing, it's lies. Like I told you, Jeff, 4.5 years ago, I came up here. You've known me for a while now, doing things around town. I love this town, and you can't take that away from me. Win or lose, they're not going to take Stoughton out of me. That's like, it's home. And
you mentioned 2 decisions earlier. You fleshed out Donna McNamara. I'm assuming the other one is Stephen Estes.
Yes, sir.
So Discuss how you feel he's performed thus far as the interim town manager.
Unbelievable. The morale is impeccable. People now walk around town hall smiling. They no longer, when they see us, they run. They used to run from us, Jeff. Employees would run from us. And they've gotten to talk to us and got to know us, and they're like, and we'd ask questions, and they're like, why are you asking us questions? I'm like, because we like to know what's going on. They're like, but Michael Hartman used to tell us, you want to know this and you want to run the town hall. We're not here to run the town hall. We pay the professionals. We pay you people to do your job. But I have a question from a resident or a business owner or an employee. I need to get answers. And this is what they don't like. I am the go-to guy. I'm sorry that I'm the go-to guy. I made a commitment. State reps, senators, congressmen, presidents, whoever we vote for, from small town politics to cities to states, they call the people that they put in office. That's who we are. Probably a big debate on a driveway thing. I saw that complaint. I called the DPW. See, they don't think I called the DPW, found out. I called Tom Fitzgerald, Superintendent of Public Works, and said, hey, what's going on? So I can let the residents know. He goes, you know better. They're going to go back and finish up. I need the exact answer just to give my resident. And she thanked me. And like I said, I didn't run for this job to be thanked. And she got bashed over 400 comments. This recall is a hostile takeover, a witch hunt. It's against me, and it's me only. So they're attacking Bob Corn, they're attacking Peter Brown, because it's me they want, and it's a shame. They can't come after me.
Well, do you feel, because you're satisfied with the decisions of hiring Chief McNamara and Mr. Anastos?
Absolutely.
But the means of getting there, perhaps we wouldn't be having this interview right now and we wouldn't be in this position if the processes to get these two individuals in the positions there are today were done differently. Do you agree with that? If you could go back, would you do the process of hiring Chief McNamara and Steve Anastos differently?
No.
I'm not saying change the decisions of hiring
them. No.
I'm
not going to tell you exactly what happened. Mr. O'Regan wanted an assessment center. We got an assessment center. Company out of Chicago came in. They hired these pros to come in. 3 chiefs. You were there, Jeff. You saw it. We hired the pros to come in to do it. Mr. O'Regan didn't want them. Mr. O'Regan, I'll tell you right now, this is how it works. Believe me, don't believe me, because after this show airs, they're going to twist everything. Mr. O'Regan was the town manager. Plain, simple, and easy. My opinion. Allegedly, in my opinion, because if I don't say this, I'm going to get sued. So allegedly, in my opinion, Mr. O'Regan was the town manager. Mm-hmm. Mr. Hartman was a puppet. I know they don't like when I say that, but these are the truth. You ask any town employee, ask these residents.
What's the basis, though? Just explain where you're coming from, where you're getting to that opinion.
Well, my opinion, I'll give you a perfect example, Jeff. You remember I came on here and I talked to your president. You interviewed your president, Mr. John Stagnone, and myself. And Mr. Stagnone said he had a letter that came from town council to the town manager. No one has seen it yet, but let me read that letter to you. So how does John Stagnone have that letter, like I said to you? How does he have a letter that is a chairman, a sitting member of the Board of Selectmen, does not see that letter, but an outside individual sees that letter? There was a certain group of people in town that are running the town. All the power to them, like I've said. Great. But you know what? I will work with them. I've looked at that recall list, who signed all those recalls. I've seen those lists. I've seen them all. There's people on that list, and more than both handfuls I can count, that have had issues. And they've called me, and I've helped them in their issues. Never asked for a thank you. I don't ask for nothing, Jeff. I made a commitment for the people. But they won't tell you that I did good for them. But yet there's a couple of people saying, well, you don't represent us. If you don't want me there, and you tell me I'm no good, I'm a piece of junk, I'm this and that, why would I represent you? So there's a handful that I don't represent, but they make it sound like I don't represent 1,300 or 1,400 of them. I represent every member of this town. They just don't like the way I do it. I am who I am, Jeff. I've never changed. I told you from day, like I said, you were here with me from day one. I came here and I was nervous, shaking, sweating. Now this is nothing for me anymore. You can hear the truth, like it or not. This is the truth. They're going to twist it around. Twist all you want.
You have to admit that it was those meetings at the end of July, or the end of June, beginning of July rather, were somewhat chaotic, perhaps very chaotic.
But if you look at the June 29th one, Jeff, and you can see I kept trying to stay calm, and Mr. O'Regan kept yelling constantly through the whole meeting. At a certain point, how much chaos can you go through until you Keep going. If you're interviewing 12 or 13 people here right now, and we keep mocking you and mocking you, you're very professional, like I says. I see you someday in Fox News somewhere, but if someone mocks you to a certain point, how much are you going to take, Jeff? Plain and simple, we're all humans. You get to a point, it's like enough is enough. But you watch that meeting, it's Mr. Regan who caused it. Then, yeah, of course, I say enough's enough and I'm the bad guy. But watch the meeting closely. You'll see Mr. Regan constantly doing this. Mr. Regan is a downtown lawyer. And a downtown lawyer, to me, is like a backyard mechanic. Put a pair of spark plugs in, slap a pair of brake pads, and maybe it'll change. What they want with the power, I don't really know. I don't know. I wish I knew. There's certain things I still haven't figured out yet. I really wish I could figure that out. I made a commitment to the people. My term is up April 2020. I've actually had some people tell me the other day, when you beat this recall, I said, well, it's up to the people to go and vote. Your vote counts. You have to go and vote. That's the most thing. I said, if I beat this recall, will you come back in 2020? I says, I've already told people I was going to do 2 terms. But if the people want me to come back in 2020, I'll come back in 2020 for the people.
Now, it sounds like you're running against Bob O'Regan in this, just from some of your answers. Now, he is...
Bob O'Regan's the main problem with this, and Mr. Sullivan...
I'm just saying he's one member of a 5-member board.
Oh, I'll tell you another one. Mr. Sullivan's the other one. He's personally he said he was going to personally spearhead the recall. How can you personally spearhead a recall on city members of the board? It's not professional. So these people want professional, Jeff. They're not professional. Because you know what the problem is? This blue-collar worker, truck driver, graduate from Stoughton High School, lawyers, professional engineers, electrical engineers, all these, and you watch the article in the Penny Saver, where people just like you. Well, guess what? This guy right here, Jeff, should be on the Hall of Fame at the high school. Because I beat them at their own game. Because the contract says, when the contract expires, I let him go. They say we fired him. I did not fire Michael Hartman. We did not renew his contract. Plain, simple, and easy. They said I've bullied people. Where are the police reports? They've said I've done this. Where are all these reports that I've done these things? I do nothing but help people. Jeff, you see me for the past probably 15 years now. I've known you, but I've been doing stuff for this town for 29, 30 years with my wife. What do I do bad? I mean, come on. People say I hate blacks, I hate gays, I hate lesbians. I have gay family members, gay friends. Yom Kippur, I was sitting in a Jewish temple, their highest holiday. So people saying I hate the Jewish people. Are you kidding me?
But who's saying that?
Watch Facebook. Read these things on Facebook. These people, certain people, I should say, certain people saying I don't like certain things. People don't know who I am, Jeff. You know, and I don't want my personal life. I know you know things that I do out there, and it's my personal life. It's all my personal things. I do things for who I am, not for anybody to know. I don't plaster things around. I don't go pat myself on the back. I just want what's right for the town of Stoughton. This recall is a hostile takeover. That's what this is. It's a hostile takeover, Jeff. Plain and simple. Mr. Anastas says, I brought Mr. Anastas in. He's a Stoughton resident. He's a successful businessman. He lives in the town of Stoughton. He knows how the politics work. You want to know who broke the town charter? Mr. O'Regan and the crew that he was on. The town charter says the town manager is supposed to live in the town of Stoughton. They waived it the first time. When they renewed his contract again, they waived it again. The charter says you need to live in Stoughton. So it's okay if they break the charter, but which I didn't break the charter, and they're talking about this lawsuit, Jeff. This lawsuit is not going nowhere.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's clarify that. The lawsuit, because that is definitely an argument that the pro-recall side is making, that there's this lawsuit that's kind of hanging overhead over the town, and it can be quite costly. You're the chairman of the Selectmen now. What is the status of this lawsuit?
We'll wait his next move, but he has no case, Jeff. You put 2 and 2 together.
Well, that's your opinion.
It's my opinion, in my opinion. But the judge already said he has nothing to go on. We did nothing wrong. We did not fire him. We did not do nothing. We told him your contract expired. December, here's your 6-month letter. April again, 6-month letter. Michael Hartman told me after I won in April, he goes, you weren't not supposed to win. Rick Hill was supposed to win. I was supposed to keep my job. And he goes, but I'm going to still keep my job. I says, excuse me. I said, Michael, you're not keeping your job because you're not here for the people. You're just here for a certain group. You're doing certain things for a certain group. It's the whole town. Park Street we need sewer up on Campanelli Parkway. We definitely need sewer. Certain members of the Board of Selectmen One in particular wants to force it down people's throat to pay for this sewer, the whole town. So there's people up in the Park Street area that have signs. You'll see signs on people's yards that if this recall goes through, they're going to force the sewer down Park Street and everything else and force everybody to hook up. And these people are going to sell their lands for millions. Who's going to get kickbacks on these lands? That's just my opinion again, Jeff. They don't like what I say. They don't like my kickbacks. They don't like what I say. You know, I am who I am, Jeff. I'm not going to change. I just tell you right now, Stephen Astis and Donna McNamara, the two best decisions we made for this town of Stoughton.
All right, do you intend, I know at a meeting you brought up wanting to keep Mr. Anastos, potentially take the interim off the title and make him permanent. Is that something that you would intend to do?
No, we're going to go through the proper procedure, Jeff, but I could just say that. And no disrespect, and if you were there, I don't remember if you were there or not, when we hired Chief McNamara, I said right now we could hire Eddie DeFelice. We could hire you, Jeff. We could say, right now, I make a motion, we hire Jeff Pickett as new police chief, town of Stoughton. Is there a second? Could second it? Third, all in favor? You're the new police chief, no questions asked. There's certain things that the board doesn't have to do the proper procedure. We are the Board of Selectmen. The people put us in office to do the right decision. Just like I said, some decisions aren't popular. But the decisions I make, and I've told you from day one, the decisions aren't to benefit myself, my pocketbook, my family, my friends. I will not do that, Jeff. The day I do something wrong, I told the people 4 years ago, I will walk away. The day I become a politician, a true politician, and play these backdoor games, I'm going to walk away because that's not who I am.
So you're not going to be, prior to the recall election, take the interim title away?
No, no, I will not.
So why did you bring that up?
Why did I bring it up?
Yeah.
To show the people that we could do it if we wanted to do it. We have the power to do that. But another perfect example, we gave Mr. Hartman his letter in December, so middle of December. So
December 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September right now, October, now November. So say 11 months. Mr. O'Regan, no, Mr. Sullivan now, at one point has suggested to start a search now, recommend anybody. Why didn't they recommend anybody? Why didn't they recommend anybody? So everybody's trying to put the blame on the three of us. It's not the three of us. It's two people surrounded by friends and their own agenda. They say I can't work with I'll work with anybody, Jeff. I will work with everybody.
Did you ever consider putting a search committee together prior to June?
Yes, we did. Mr. O'Regan said, let's hold off on that. And I think Mr. Brown has some text messages, or I think it's text messages from Mr. O'Regan saying that. Let's wait for the election. Because they said straight out, I'm going to lose the election. The election did not go their way.
It didn't go your way quite either. I know you got back in, but I'm going
to... No, and I'm going to tell you why.
To be frank, you were hoping to have a 4-to-1 board when you got back in.
Correct, but I'm going to tell you right now what everybody, of course, you want to push the town forward, even move in a better direction. But I'm going to tell you why it didn't go my way. A lot of people, and I've talked to a lot of people saying, well, way to vote for you, Spanky, because everybody votes for you. It's not true. They're taking your vote away. If you don't go out and vote this time, and if everybody does not go and vote, David Spanky Sousa will not be back in, Bobby Cohen will not be back in, and Peter Brown will not be back in. The people need to go vote. It's your vote. They're trying to take your vote away. We could have recalled them, but you know what? I'm not going to cost the town $28,000. These people saying we're costing the town money. We're not costing the town money. Town manager is going to go to court, and he's going to lose. In my opinion, he's going to lose. We did nothing wrong. Perfect example. Jimmy Garoppolo just got traded last night. You're gone. See you later. That's the real world, Jeff.
Yeah, but that's apples and oranges.
But it's not apples and oranges because his contract expires, or when the contract expires, you're out of a job. NFL hires you, or say Fox Sports hires you right now. Jeff, we're going to come in, you're going to do a show, 3 shows, $100,000.
I would certainly take that.
But I'm just saying, you do 3 shows, $100,000, and you blow it out of the ballpark. They're like, oh, we'd love to hire you, but you know what? We're not going to hire you now. Contract's over, see you later. What do? Are you going to say, no, I did a great job, you said I did a great job. You're going to sue them and say, take my job? The contract's a contract. You signed it. He signed his contract. So this is the stuff I don't know. And like I said, and they're going to turn this around left and right. Let them do what they got to do, Jeff.
Do you think the charter needs a clarification on that? Because the
charter does. The charter is definitely wrong.
The charter certainly has a gray area in terms of...
It does.
what the example that you're bringing up when a contract expires. Now, there is past precedent. There are other boards that have gone with when the contract expires, the town manager continues to serve.
Yes, unless you serve him the letter like you did. If we did not give him that letter, he would have automatically renewed for a year. Automatically, that's in the contract. He would in the charter. It would renew automatically in a year. We did not give him. We did not give him the letter. In the past, these people have never given any other town managers a letter. I beat people at their own game, Jeff, and this is what they don't like. Hartman was not the right fit for this town. Steve Anastas is the right fit. This recall goes through. Anastas will no longer stay because they're going to get rid of Anastas. The chief will no longer be the chief, and when their contract's up. So we're actually moving this town forward in the right direction. We got more firefighters coming in. We've got more ambulances coming in now. We've changed the billing cycle in the ambulance. We have 2 ambulances, and I think now once we run these 14 guys per shift, and if it's, depending on what it is, we can take an engine off or a ladder, put an extra guy in a piece of equipment, and run a 3rd ambulance if we need to. So that's 3 ambulances now that are making the town big money. There was a tragedy a few weeks ago in Avon, as you probably know, and Stoughton responded. We have the manpower now. We still get more manpower in the ambulance and every now instead of always calling mutual aid. We're starting to pay back all the other towns now with our mutual aid. And I think this time, September next year, Labor Day after next year, we'll have 12 new firefighters. This town is moving in the right direction. They don't think so but we fixed Gleneco. They say, what do you think? Library, Jeff, you filmed those two shows that I did, make a fool of yourself, but I won a couple Oscars there, so I actually got my star in Hollywood there. But the library, it was questions I asked for the parking lot. I've heard rumbles, and I couldn't prove it because Hartman wouldn't tell you, but rumbles about the parking lot. It was a $500,000 mistake. And so we finally got out after Mr. Nassas come in, there was a $500,000 mistake. So we're gonna have a beautiful $14 million building. Look at you see the picture on the side of Wall Street, the library. It's gonna be a beautiful building with the lousy parking lot. So how do I tell the people, hey, I need another $500,000 to fix this parking lot without everybody getting mad at us? We got a new school. I was the first one to go out and, didn't want to go out to school to tape it. So I'm for everything, Jeff, and I don't understand why they're against me.
All right, well, our time's expiring on the show. I want to thank David Sousa for joining me today on this episode of Stoughton Spotlight, our Conversations with the Candidates series. The recall election will take place Tuesday, December 5th, 2017. And again, David Sousa is facing a challenge from Christine Howe for the seat that expires in April 2020. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time on Stoughton Spotlight.